let's say a square. Imagine that's just a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
That's your square. So with your traditional quilt, you work around that square, you put right sides, sorry to mess this up, Ruth.
That's all right.
You put right sides together, okay, and you can machine stitch or you can hand stitch. A Manx quilt, you can't.
It's all hand stitched.
It's all hand stitched. Okay, so you go to the end, you roll it back. It's a bit impossible with this, but there's your stitching. You roll it back and you keep going round and round. This piece gets bigger and bigger as you go round. Are you with me? So it's free. In that, you're not applying it to anything else. So you're doing the same principle, right side to right side with pre-cut strips, and round you go, and you end up with a much bigger thing. Right, a Manx quilt is done on pre-cut squares of fabric. These are based on the span of your hand. Clearly not my hand on this one, but this is Ruth's hand thing. Clearly on the span of your hand, because they had no rulers.
Right.
So it's this to this, and then that joint and this joint is the sizes. So what you start off with, as Ruth has here, traditionally it would be a red square symbolising the warmth of the hearth. Let's imagine this is the first piece we're putting on. Again, like before, right side to right side, running stitches along, leave your needle and thread at the back of the work. Then, what you've first done is you've given yourself these tram lines. Now, you give yourself the tram lines, so imagine that gone by, and imagine that we've got just the red square on it. You take the outer edge of the white to the outer edge of the red crease, do it again. That gives you 3 tram lines, and this is what Ruth's doing now. She's working up to the tram lines. So here we go, we've stitched that, left our needle at the back of the work, and then, sorry Ruth,
That's okay.
you roll it up to that line. That's your guide. These tram lines are key, absolutely key. So that's your guide, you turn your work, and you just keep going round. But this is never going to get any bigger. Unlike Pennsylvania style, Amish style. Again, log cabin, very similar, light dark pattern shade, you know, contrasting colours on opposing corners. That's where the similarity ends. This is Manx, it's called the raised roof, and that's why, because in doing this roll up here, you end up with a little pleat of air. That's not going to keep you warm anytime soon.
Right, yeah.
But that's why the rag rug is made, and it's to go on the bed. There's no wadding in this, never. This type is never wadded. There are some old Manx quilts that have been done with old wool and they've been wadded, but they're one-offs. But this is the very traditional style. You go round and round and then you join them all together. Now, what you normally do when you're joining together, you're making a cross in the middle. So imagine that mirror imaging. Or you can do it the opposite way and have a light cross and a dark edge. Now, if you're making lots of these and you want to make a large quilt, you always alternate. So this square will be a dark cross, that group will be a light cross. Is that any clearer?
Yes, that's beautiful. And so,
Sorry, good, you're welcome.
the pleat is what gives it extra weight.
It gives it, well, technically a little bit more warmth, but
But not much.
it's not going to be much.
They
No,
would
no.
put this rag rug on top of their bed.
Yeah. Now, I used to think, why didn't they ram this with wool? There's plenty of sheep out there, but of course the fleeces were important for the construction of the fabric that they're going to wear.
Yeah.
So you would not necessarily put it in here, because what you've got then is this item, which is like your granddad's army greatcoat. That goes on top of your bed and that will keep you warm.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello there. So, but that is the difference.
Neat.
The American style is free flowing. You just make it bigger and bigger by going round and go as big as you like, and you can machine stitch it, and then you'll press it really tight back, you really open up that seam. This one you don't, you keep it soft and you roll it. But the key on this square, set your one in the middle and do your creases 1, 2. Without that, you're flat.
That's your guide.
That's your guide.
That's what keeps the pieces uniform.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That's very
It's so fun.
Yeah,
Thank
we all need to
you
make
so
welcome.
much.
Most welcome.
Yes.
And of course they did it because, you know, you have a garment, you wear your apron or something, and it gets stained or torn on the gauze, well, they never throw the whole thing away
Right.
because fabric was too precious. When's another bolt of fabric going to come in on that delivery boat? And indeed, when it does, can you afford it? Because, you know, the disposable income was very small. Like one old shilling in 7D, probably about $1, something like that a year.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of money to play around with and have the luxury of doing this. We do this decoratively now. That was done out of being
Necessity.
recycling
Yeah,
and necessity. Yeah. So, you know, so it's making use of what you've got. Similarly, the rag rug there, this would be heavier weight garments that would go cut into strips, fixed on a sack, and then that would
What
go
is
on
it?
the
It's
bed.
just a burlap sack.
Yeah, it's just a grain sack.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.